Greetings, Keishlings. Keish Brown here with my live reaction of One Piece, Chapter 1167. Alright. Ida's son. Okay, so, Haradine. Alright. Weird that they decided to go with that title then. Okay, so, aw, cute cat with a book. Oh, it stole the book. It's just like Nami was back in the day. Dang. With Genzo, and, I always forget her name. Nojiko. Okay. Is scalded for stealing a book. Aw. But, yeah, let's move on. So, a post-God Valley world. 33 years ago. 5 years after God Valley. I could have sworn pirates were approaching off the shore. Okay, so 5 years later. So now we've got Morgan's actually doing more reporting, it seems like. Let's see. But there was something huge and shadowy emerging from the mist behind them. Okay. Oh, so Impel Down did exist. Okay. Because I couldn't remember how long it's been in existence. The underwater prison, Impel Down. Everything just went kaboom after that. Our ship was in ruins before we knew it. Wait, is this all the same story? Being told by different people, or are these different instances by the same thing? We were nothing but fish food. Sure, it wasn't a Sea King attack. No, it was shaped like a human. What the heck? Good lord, look at the proportions of this man. Don't tell me you were in the infamous waters of the Florian Triangle. Oh my god, are we finally getting lore on those creepy giant things? If that's the case, hot damn. Fat chance, we don't fish near that region. No one knows, or everyone knows to avoid it. Anyway, that monstrous thing was definitely human-like. Wait a minute. That's Haradine, isn't it? During this period, a rumor began to circulate among the Grand Line countries. They said a monster lurked deep in the foggy seas, targeting pirate crews. Okay, so Haradine was the one. Not Haradine. Bah. Did I say Haradine before? I meant to say Harald. My brain. So yeah, Harald is doing this, I guess, for the world government, right? The identity of the monster, yeah, that's straight up Harald. The identity of that monster was none other than Harald. Few who sailed those waters had ever seen a giant with their own eyes, so to them he was nothing more than the very embodiment of fear. Harald now worked in the shadows to back up the Navy as part of his atonement for the last 1,000 years of history. Okay. And now we've got, I guess, the rise of the what would become the Four Emperors of the Sea. Not Four Emperors. Yeah. I combined 7 warlords and the Four Emperors. Anyway, meanwhile, the pirates who had gone their separate ways after God Valley continued to rise in prominence, and over the next decade or so, each of them would peak to become a defining face of their generation. Most of these pirates simply clashed over territory. Okay, so we've got those two. Makes sense. That's why they didn't have any prominence as, beyond their rocks days. Well, I mean, I guess Shiki does, but obviously the other guy, I forget his name. He kind of just falls into just a derelict pirate. However, one crew broke through all the others. Haha, Roger. And achieved a feat long believed impossible. They circumnavigated the entire world. Excuse me. Oh, look, Shanks. And Buggy, too. So this is literally like the decade after God Valley. They were hailed as the crew of the King of the Pirates, Gold Roger. The public execution of the captured Pirate King was meant to serve as a spectacle, a display of the world government's power. However, so now we're 22 years, or is it 24 years, um, from present day. The world was plunged into an even darker or greater turmoil as countless souls set out in pursuit of the vast treasure Roger left behind, the One Piece. And, oh, the giant Navy soldiers. So this is part of that. So Harald probably, like, leveraged more giants into service. No one had anticipated the advent of the Great Pirate Era. Navy headquarters found itself caught off guard as a result. More than 10 giants were drafted into the Marines from all over the world in an effort to consolidate strength. Only 10. Now, be it that's still very powerful because they are massive giants, considering you can see, like, building towers with numerous human soldiers on them. During this stretch of time, Harald waited on the Navy hand and foot. He's an ancient giant. Did you see how huge he was? I want to make him my slave. Oh, God. And that very year, he was finally granted formal permission to visit the Holy Land. A shallow sea contract? What? The fuck does that mean? That is correct. Consider yourself the right hand of the God's Knights. Oh. Oh, he's got a tattoo of the symbol on his arm now. God's Steel. It is a great honor. There are 3 levels of contract. Oh, wait, no, this isn't just a normal tattoo. This is the mark. Oh, crap. Shallow Sea Contract. Okay. There are 3 levels of contract. The Shallow Sea Contract is a more minor pact. The Deep Sea and Deep Sea contracts, good lord, they couldn't be any more fantastical with those names, are reserved for those who are to be bound fully to the true God. So that would be you, Deep Seas. And then the Deep Seas, I guess, would be the God's Knights themselves, maybe? Only 13 individuals in the entire world receive that privilege. Oh. What do you mean by God? You will only come to know the greatest depths of this world on the day you become a full Knight of God. Could Elbaf become a member nation then? Naturally, Harald. At that point, the entire world would be clamoring to welcome you. I am grateful for this opportunity to prove myself. Oh, you poor bastard. Oh, and we've got the fancy man himself. He hasn't fully grown that beard yet, but it's starting to point. So this is amongst the God's Knights. The Knights Temple. Shangara. Why does that sound familiar? Domain of the Gods. Captain of the Knights of God. Figureland family, Saint Garlic. What is the Great One planning? You're going to obey us, even though you're a king of the Elbaf. Why'd I add thee? Oh, well, there's Shamrock there. Of course, just say the word. We'll keep a long-distance transponder snail on hand and call if we have need of you. You'll be free to travel the surface world, but you are forbidden to speak of our dealings. Understood. 20 years ago. Okay, so just a couple years later, essentially. In the Ryugu Kingdom, Fishman Island. Oh. Wait, they're drinking buddies? I haven't laughed this hard in a long time, Neptune. Me too, Paljamon. Paljamon? What? We both have our fair share of headaches, don't we? I guess this is true, because both of them are species that are constantly trying to be captured as slaves. God, he's weird with that minimalist of a beard. To be honest, I don't think your son is that bad deep down. Let's not forget what your youth was like. Wait, how old are you then? Well, then, well, when you put it like that, I'm just being brutally honest. Anyway, did I tell you a fortune teller predicted I'll have a daughter in 4 years, Jaman? What? When the time is right. So now we're getting Charlie's prophecy. Or one of them, I guess, technically. When the time's right, why don't we betroth Loki to my future daughter? Oh, God. Their sizes would match up rather well. He's very shocked by this. Bah! Now you're going too far. Cut it out. Giant fishman. That would be interesting. Hey, don't write her off so fast. She's not gonna just be any mermaid. My daughter might as well be born with a power no one else could ever hope to handle. What? It's like he was foreseeing the future. Well, now, that does sound like a perfect match. Let's have a toast. Here's to the futures of my mischievous troublemaker and your little Mosa Mosa. Oh, shit. Holy fuck. Does that mean that Shirahoshi was the frickin' like person on the other line? So she's been talking to Loki for years. Don't call her that. She won't be Shaggy. Okay. Like Scoob. Anyway, that same year, Owl Library, Elbath. Don't mention it. You're welcome to live freely here, Saul. Thanks a bunch. So this is like right at, not long after he escaped from all the horrendous. No, actually, no. This would have been the same year. Yeah, because Robin was 8 years old, and if this is around the 20-year mark, yeah, makes sense. Actually, there's one thing I'd like to ask. What is it? If we get other learned folk to Elbaf to help, would you be willing to open a school here? Damn, he really was working. A school, huh? That's a nice idea. 15 years ago, a major incident occurred at the Holy Land of Marijola. My slaves are running away. The cells are broken. Okay, so now we've got Fisher Tiger. Hurry. Or do you want to be their pet forever? Wait. Who dat? Who dat? Damn it, is that a God's Knight? That looks like... Well, it's obviously not Shanks, right? Could... I don't know. The sword kind of looks like Shanks. Oh god, they like freaking flash stepped past him and hit him good. Listen, the armory will be left unlocked for you. I'll tell you the location. Okay, so that... So frickin' Fisher Tiger didn't escape on his own. He had help. Gah! Gunpowder? So the town got attacked. Hurry, big sis. Sandrazona? Sonia? Yeah, that's a weird name. There's someone out there. Someone fighting to free us from this hell. Hurry, Koala. You have to run. So everyone is just escaping all at the same time. Good lord, I didn't realize that all these coordinated at the same time. This attack on the Holy Land was carried out by Fisher Tiger. In the wake of this incident, he would go on to become captain of the Sun Pirates. Dang, it's ridiculous what all happened in this span of time. One Piece is awesome. Sounds like it was pretty rough. They say someone with the government must have left the armory open for them. Now it's up to us to find the culprit. I can't wait to execute them. There's someone I want to introduce to you, Harold. Hmm? His name is Shanks. Oh, oh, so this is when Shanks came back. Wait, then that definitely means that was Shanks that was helping. He's Shamrock's younger brother. They were separated a long time ago due to circumstances. He suffered many hardships in the surface world. If he were to form a deep sea contract, I believe he'd make a great asset on par with Shamrock. For the time being, however, he's been given the ranks of God's Steel, just like you. I know I said the same thing when I first met Shamrock, too, but I can't shake the feeling that I've met you before. I don't know what you're talking about, so his eyes bandaged up. Interesting. You're just some giant commoner from the surface. Don't act so familiar with me. What? Why are you acting like this? This is definitely not the Shanks we know. Something ain't right. I was blessed from birth with Figureland blood in my veins. Have no doubt I'm going to become a knight of God before you. Guess I mistook you for someone else? Go on, Shamrock. I wish to deepen my knowledge of the Holy Land, and I shall apprehend that traitor to claim the credit I deserve. Are there any leads? It can wait till your wounds are fully healed, Shanks. You cannot fathom the anguish of having the last 24 years of your life wasted. This is definitely not our Shanks. What the hell? No wonder the rest of the world seemed so alien to me. So, Godsteel devotee and Knight of God. Shanks and Shamrock. I hated everything down there. What the fuck you did? Something ain't right, and Harold, he knows it. That same year, the fishing village on Elbath. It's no good, my medical knowledge is too limited. Let's call Harold and see if he can get us in touch with a more skilled doctor. Don't. He's got a lot on his plate now. What's the point of fostering a network with the world government if we don't use it? So she's dying. I can recover on my own. You keep saying that, but you're getting weaker by the day. You have to get better. Harold will be heartbroken if you don't. You know? Motto, keep the tavern open. Well, we know that happens. No way, how can I when you're this sick, Ida? Whenever Harold's home, he always goes straight to the elders and begs them to allow you two to legally marry. That fool, he knows I'm happy with my tavern. I enjoy befriending sailors from all over the world. So they still haven't been officially married? Good lord. Old farts. It may not be much, but I feel like I'm helping Harold by doing this. You kind of are, considering the allies you have with Shanks in the future, but, Hey, foreign hag. What? Loki, so he killed a bull. Cook up this meat for the old hag, will you? Aw. Loki's a sweetheart for this one. I mean, it's painted in such a horrible way, but the intent is truly there. She always said to look upon her as his mother. So, even if he didn't really want to accept that or not. So I love that this is how at least he's showing concern, but in his own way. Let's see here. The tavern's my main hangout spot. I want her to reopen it. Good grief, that troublemaker has grown out of hand. I'm glad you've been able to keep him in line. Even with Harding and his friends away looking for a doctor, your boys really love you. Aw, so Harding's out there sailing the seas with his new crew, trying to find a doc for his mammy. Everyone's blowing this out of proportion. I'll be fine, but it does make me smile. Aw. Let's see here. Elbath Alcohol Village outside of Loki's uh, the hometown of Loki's birth mother, huh? What did you say? Uh, I'm getting confused on which of these frickin' things. We were talking about how utterly unbearable it'd be to let the foreign bitch worm her way into the royal family. You're with us, right, Loki? We're Estrid's. Oh God, they're relatives. uh, she was Harold's true wife. We can't let anyone have a claim on our inheritance. That's why I slipped her a dose of poison. You fuckers. Oh God. You monsters. Loki must be burning up inside. Uh, this stuff is fatal. Her days are numbered. Mondo, we can't hold off on ringing Harold anymore. On it. We may not be related by blood, but I see him the same way I do Harding. Loki is still my cute little son. Loki? Hey, he isn't really gonna die, right? Oh shit, he burned that down to the ground. I still remember my birth mother. She hated me. She had me thrown into the realm of the dead. Who gives a shit about inheritance? Your whole family is nothing but trash. Now answer. Ida won't actually die, right? I bet you must be pretty lonely, right, Loki? Wouldn't it be better to stay with us? The only mother I've ever known. Oh, this would have been great as a Mother's Day. His true feelings pour out. Of course, he could only say that when there's like literally one witness who's about to die. But, good lord. So overall, the whole issue. We got Florian Triangle kind of lore. I mean, that's obviously not the same thing as those creatures we saw during Thriller Bark, so kind of weird that didn't get a connection somehow. Excuse me. Still nothing about Rocks. I mean, presumably he's dead, but very well, like some of the theories that have been circulating is that he's either locked up in the ice room in Marijola or thrown and impaled down to die. But it doesn't seem like the people down there know, so then again, it's also been literal decades at this point. But gotta love the story of Ida, like her presumable passing in mere days. Harold is unaware of what's really going on. Loki's finding out why she's so ill and why the... Actually, it would be great if a person from that had the... Because the timeline would kind of work out a little bit, is if the Op No Me was used on her to save her life. And, you know, but I don't know. And then they are just immediately killed just for whatever reason. I don't know. But that would just be stupid fan fiction. Huh. But yeah, like, what kind of poison were they giving her that, like, nobody on Elbaf knows about? Because presumably, if it's a giant origin of giant origin or whatever, surely giants would have some medical knowledge on its treatments or at least its applications and pathologies. But, or toxicology? Is toxicology the word I should have used instead of pathology? Either way. So yeah, Harold's just become a lapdog of the government. Great. But this is kind of what we figured. But we're seeing how he formulated the school when Saul showed up. We got to see, we'll call him Evil Shanks for now, because he's acting completely different, which is weird considering he apparently helped with the fish tiger incident. Like, what is up with, like, 20 years ago? Like, everything happened 20 years ago. It's like, the One Piece world is crazy. Like, little bits and pieces of time pass, and then big events all start happening all at once. And then we skip a couple years, and then more shit happens. Like the 2 year time skip that we know of, like, you had the battle on yeah, first, like, the white and black beard war. You had, the battle on Punk Hazard. All these big things. You've got, like, where Law became one of the four. Well, first he was a he became a warlord and everything. So it's like a lot of stuff happens in short order in One Piece. It's kind of crazy. Also, my nose, it's just like crazy. So yeah, but Loki's just a darling. Like, he's actually showing his true colors, and he's not the evil bastard everyone's always thought him to be. I mean, it's likely that he just needed the right guiding hand. Harold kind of was doing that, but he's not around as much as he probably should be, to help raise his son, especially with the mother of said child dying. But she would have been a horrible parent going forward had she not thrown him off a mountain. Well, the equivalent of a mountain. It wasn't really a mountain, but you know what I mean. So, yeah. But yeah, it's good that he finally notes that Ida is his true mother, and that is lovely. And also razzed his blood relatives to the ground. And also the fact that Haradine is out there trying to find a doctor, but obviously that's likely not going to transpire because Ida doesn't exist in the present day, as far as we know, because what's her name, Mato, takes over the Giants bar, or whatever it's called, Ida's bar. So yeah. But yeah, the whole thing with Shanks, it's kind of weird that he's acting in the shadows of helping with the Fisher Tiger incident and the slaves that got freed. But then he's like wanting to learn more about the Holy Land, and he got marked and everything. So he's probably just putting on an act so he can have these advantages and the trust of high-ranking officials and people in the Holy Land, so that he can then backstab them and free more people in the future, and maybe just completely destroy this whole government system. I don't know, but we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, interesting that him and Harold were on equal terms rank-wise at one point, which probably just further made the whole reason why the connection into him going to Elbath is often made more sense, because he was friends with the king at one point, and also given one of his former crewmates bedded one of them, and now lives there. So yeah, but I've rattled on long enough. I'm sure there's something I missed, but let me know down below. Anything I missed, misunderstood, please let me know. And as always, later days. Until next time, Quiche-lings. God, I'm a blabbermouth today. Bye.